I'm going to show you how to master the basics of German, because German has a reputation for being complicated, but it is a very cool language to learn. And after 25 years of learning and teaching languages, even writing books in German, I've noticed something about this language. If you start in the right place, it's one of the most logical languages you could ever learn. In fact, there are a few simple patterns that make the whole language suddenly start opening up. So in this video, I will show you how all of the tricky sounds work, how to recognize loads of German words, how basic German sentence structure works, and a few things you can actually go and say straight away. First things first though, let's get the scariest part out of the way. When most people try pronouncing German words for the first time, something strange happens to their face.
Yeah,
that face. And I won't lie, that reputation is earned. German can sound intense, but here's the bit people often leave out. There are only a handful of sounds in German that don't exist in English, just a handful. And once you know what they are, they go from scary to actually quite manageable.
If you are an American or an English speaker learning German, here's a comprehensive list of all the sounds that are going to be hard for you. As in ich, as in Buch, as in Ritter, Ö as in schön, Ü as in über, Ä as in Äpfel, and Pf as in Pferd.
That wasn't so bad, was it? Bit of practice and you will get it. The most important one is the sound, and you will use this one a lot. In fact, every time you talk about yourself, because I is ich.
How do you say I am in German? Ich bin. How do you say I have in German? Ich habe.
If you want, there's even a trick that you can try right now.
Now, my best trick for this sound for English speakers is to say the word hue very slowly. Here, listen to me do it. Hue, hue, hue. You hear that? That sound at the beginning of hue, which to me sounds kind of like an air mattress with a leak, is exactly what we're going for. It should be a smooth sound, almost like a hiss, and it might help to tense up your cheeks as you're doing it, like this. Ich.
See, your mouth didn't fall off. And in our story learning courses, our teachers actually demo the physiology of these sounds up for you really up close so you can see how the sounds are made. But here is something helpful for you to know. Getting your mouth around these sounds is the hardest part, because the reading and writing, it's a lot easier. You see, German spelling is way more predictable than English. Most letters only make one sound. So once you know those sounds, you can usually read a German word out loud the first time you see it. Yep, even those long ones. And that means you're already starting to decode the language. And if you want a little help with that, one great way to do it is to read simple stories in German, especially if they come with audio. It's actually the core of my story learning approach, where we teach languages through stories rather than grammar. And if you'd like to get a sense of what learning through stories is like, I've put together a free short story in German for you. And it's perfect for you if you're just finding your feet with the language. It's written at a simplified level so you can actually follow it. It comes with audio so you can listen along, and I walk you through exactly how to use it step by step. You can get it for free by scanning the QR code on the screen, or there is a link in the description. Because reading a real story is one of the best ways to take everything we're talking about in this video and actually feel it working. But okay, pronouncing little words like ich and nicht is one thing, but what are you going to do when the words just keep getting longer and longer and longer? We'll get to that, but first, here's something that surprises almost everyone who comes to German for the first time. You already know a lot of the language, starting with a word that you'll use the moment you meet someone.
Hallo! Hallo!
Hallo oder guten Tag oder hi.
Yeah, the basic German word for hello is, yeah, you guessed it. And there are literally hundreds of familiar words like this hiding in plain sight, for a very good reason too. English and German come from the same ancient language family, and tons of words crossed over that still look and sound similar today. I mean, check these out. They're even spelled the same.
You have things like Wasser, water, Vater, father, fish, fish, Kind, kid, house, Garten, garden, all these things, all these words, you guys, are very similar.
She's right, it's a huge list. I bet you'll be able to guess most of them. And remember this one for later. Now, okay, I know what is on your mind. I'm not ignoring it. I swear, these enormous monster words, as everyone knows, German is full of them. Yeah, that does seem brutal. But guess what? You're never going to say that. In fact, most German words you hear in everyday conversation are about the same length as English, not 527 letters. There are longer ones, sure, 10, 12, 14 letters, and some of them are even useful, like excuse me. But here's where it gets really clever, and this is one of my favorite things about the language. German has a funny way of naming things. Instead of inventing completely new words, it often just describes what the thing actually is. And to do this, it glues small words together to make something new. Take the word for glove. split it in two and you get a hand and a shoe. A glove is literally a hand shoe, which, when you think about it, is exactly what a glove is. And German does this all the time. A fridge is a cool cupboard. And my personal favourite, a turtle is a little shield toad. Seriously, that is the word. In fact, let's test this right now. Remember this word, Sonne? Now, let's add something to it. What do you think this means now?
Die Sonnenbrille. The sunglasses.
Sunglasses, exactly. You've just decoded your first German compound word. Congratulations. And you did it before I even told you the answer. And once you know these tricks, these scary long words suddenly start making a lot of sense and they can actually be fun. So if you ever see a long German word, don't panic, just look for the smaller words inside it. But even small words often have something very strange going on that you still need to decode. Like the moment you try to introduce yourself.
Ich heiße Sorush.
Ich heiße Pauline.
Ich heiße Chris.
Ich heiße Janusz Hamerski.
Now, did you spot something strange in that word? Funny letter, looks like a capital B, right? Well, this is called an SZ, or a sharp S, and it simply makes a S sound. That's it.
SZ. SZ. Fuß. Straße.
You see, not remotely scary once you know what it is. In fact, plenty of Germans just write double S instead these days, especially when they're typing. Okay, so now that you know how to say my name is, you might want to try it out yourself. Just listen again and then add your own name at the end.
Ich heiße Sorush.
Ich heiße Alex. Wie heißt du?
That right there is your first real German sentence. And if you meet someone new, there's a decent chance you might end up doing something very German, going for a beer, which raises an important question.
Imagine you are in Germany, in a bar, and you want to order 2 beers. How are you gonna do that?
Told you. Good question. So let's learn the numbers from 1 to 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And there you go, you can order 5 beers, or 5 of anything for that matter. But hold on, what's going on with those 2 dots above the number 5? Well, these are called umlauts. German has 3 extra vowels with those dots on top. A, O, and U. And all the dots do is change the sound of the vowel slightly, but they show up everywhere in German, so it's worth getting used to them now. It feels strange the first time you try them because your mouth has simply never made that shape before, but it will come. Now that you get it, you can also say the word for goodbye, which has one of these umlauts right in the middle.
Tschüss. Tschüss.
Tschüss.
Right, so you can greet someone, introduce yourself, order a drink, and say goodbye, which is a perfectly reasonable start. But pretty quickly, you run into the next problem, which is that you know a few words, but how do you actually put them all together? Because the fact is, every language has its own way of organizing a sentence. And if we were talking about Russian or Turkish, the word order gets pretty confusing. But luckily, this is where German turns out to be much more logical than people expect. Here's the key rule, and there really is just one to know right now. The verb, the action word, almost always sits in second position. Whatever you put first in a sentence, the verb must come second. And the good news is that in a simple sentence, this works almost exactly like English. Subject first, verb second, and everything else after.
Ich komme aus Zürich.
Ich komme aus der Schweiz.
Ich komme aus Frankreich.
Okay, my turn. I come from London. Ich komme aus London. Still working on my pronunciation of it, just like you. Now, a conversation needs to go both ways, so let's learn how to ask a question.
Woher kommst du? Ich komme aus Deutschland.
Woher kommst du?
Aus Mainburg, in Niederbayern.
And what do you know, the verb is still second in the question. The only exception is yes or no questions, but don't worry about those for now. And this single idea, where the verb sits in a sentence, is one of the most helpful rules in the entire language. Right, let's see how all these pieces actually fit together in the wild. The logical sounds, the hand-shoe words, and the verb rules. A few minutes ago, German was just a wall of scary sounds, right? But now you've got a greeting, some introductions. You can ask someone their name and where they're from. You know your way around the funny letters, and you can count to 5, which frankly covers a lot of life's most important situations.
Hallo, wie heißt du? Ich heiße Lari und du? Ich bin Lisa.
And just like that, 6 simple lines and you're having a real German conversation. The best part is that you understand how those lines are put together, so you're well on your way to learning the language. Your next step is to grab that free story that I've made for you, link in the description again for that. After that, there's just one big thing standing in your way, which is how are you actually going to do all this and learn the language day to day? Because it's all very well realizing German is going to be fun to learn, but if you don't know how to fit it into your busy schedule, you'll probably end up giving up by next Sunday, which is exactly why you should watch this video next, where I show you a really simple system for learning any language, even if you only have 15 minutes. Go and watch that now.